Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the MLB picks for Sunday. We have a 10-game slate today, starting this afternoon. So let's get started. Hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. Didn't have a video for the UFC picks yesterday, but I posted another parlay on Twitter and second straight UFC parlay that we've cashed at plus 800. This one was plus 1,058, and it did really well. Thank you, Makashev, for getting that finish in the fourth round. Quarantillo was amazing, and Rodriguez and Gambrat also just kind of dominated their performances. So make sure you follow me on Twitter if you want some picks like that. I try to post some more betting stuff as frequent as possible. I might start to post it on YouTube here, but let's get started. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Today, looking at the lineups here, we have a 7-inning game between the Blue Jays and the Rangers. That's why the Blue Jays don't have as high of a total as you would expect, just losing a couple innings. But I still think you can target a couple of those guys, especially in the outfield. Grichuk, Teoscar, Gurriel, even Springer. They're all really good against lefties. But some of the top teams to stack today are definitely the Twins look appealing, the Tigers as well, especially Grossman at only $3,200 batting leadoff. Looks like a great one-off play. On the Twins side, you just got a lot of cheap guys like Luis Arraez batting leadoff. Krylov, $3,500. Larnick, $3,800. Even you can go cheap with the catcher or Kepler as well. And then we can maybe look to some Phillies, one-offs, the Royals. Any team that's facing off against the Orioles are always going to be appealing to stack against them. So not much of a difference here. Merrifield's been struggling a little bit recently, but I still like him. Today, batting leadoff, you can pay all the way up for Perez at catcher if you wanted to do that. And then you have some cheap guys right here at the bottom of the order that might look to get like 4 or 5 at-bats here easily. And could be in some good spots to get some RBIs. And then you have Slater. Some of the Giants hitters against lefties are appealing, especially LeBlanc, who gives up some home runs like Ruff. Slater, they're expensive stacks. They would be kind of GPP based, but I don't know if that many people will be on the Giants stack just because they are expensive. And there are some other better ones, I think. But those are it. Like, there's not a ton of great stacking options. I'm looking at some one-off plays that you can look to that are just affordable, like Jock Peterson. Well, he's probably not going to be in the lineup, actually, lefty-lefty, but maybe you can look to, like, Arcia, 3,000. Heredia if you needed a pump play in the outfield. But going back to DraftKings, with there not being a ton of great stacks, I think I want to focus on the pitching today. And you're able to easily get to Corbin Burnes and Zach Wheeler if you wanted to, and that's kind of what I want to do today. Burnes been amazing with the strikeouts all season. He's been super consistent, minus a couple of starts here and there, as you would expect. And the Wheeler, on the other hand, has also been dominant with the strikeouts. Both guys have an ERA below 2 or below 3. Wheeler goes north of 100 pitches. If he's pitching really well, they like to get him to 6-7 innings at least. He's gotten over 7 a bunch of times. And both of these guys can have the ability to combine for like 60 DraftKings points, and he wouldn't be shocked. So those are the two pitchers that I want to get to. If you wanted to go affordable, you can look to like Ryu at 76. Maybe you can look to like Joe Musgrove, although he struggled a little bit recently. And then for punt plays, there's nobody else that I feel confident in. Over at first base here, you've got a couple of options here. If you wanted to go to some of these Twins guys, they are affordable. I don't know if Sano's in the lineup. He's $4,200. Looks like they're going to have Krylov in there as well. Let's see if he's second base. Or he's probably just outfield eligible on DraftKings. It might be. Let me check it out. Twins. Spelling it wrong. He's 35. You can play him first base or outfield. Krylov gives you some power upside. Lefty, righty matchup for him. I think he makes a lot of sense just because Peralta is probably one of the poorer pitchers on the slate. He's actually been decent some starts, but still don't have a ton of confidence that he, especially against a decent offense like the Twins. I believe they will be able to do some damage against Willie Peralta on the season. He has been pretty good with a 2 ERA, but small sample size, and the home runs kind of been an issue. 3 home runs and 26 strikeouts aren't really there, so he's getting a little bit lucky. So I'll side with the Twins offense on this one. At second base, sticking with the Twins, you have Luis Arraez batting leadoff at only 35. You can play him at third base if you wanted to as well, but both of those guys I like just because they're only $3,500. They have the highest total on the slate, and there's just not a ton of other great stacks that I like. So focusing on the Twins, at least a couple of lefties that get the lefty-righty matchup makes some sense here. Moving on into the outfield, we have Teoscar Hernandez. It is a 7-inning game, but he's only 43 against a lefty. And if you want to look at the stats for Teoscar against lefties, they've been amazing this year. 343 average against lefties, 5 bombs, and just 67 at-bats. So that's good for a 343 ISO, strikeouts 6% lower, the WRC plus almost at 200. So you got to like Teoscar a bunch at this discounted price. And then last guy is Robbie Grossman, who's also been very good against lefties. He's only 32 batting leadoff for the Tigers. He gives you some home run upside, gives you some stolen base upside, 13 bombs on the season. We can look at his numbers against lefties here as well. He's been a little bit better against lefties, as you would expect. He's a switch hitter, but against lefties, he's batting .273, 5 home runs, and 88 at-bats. The ISO is 261, the strikeouts lower, the WRC plus 58 points higher. So, like to get to those guys in the outfield, and even paying all the way up for Burns and Wheeler, you're still left with $4,000 to fill out your catcher, which you can always go cheap with. An outfield spot, third base, shortstop, so you're able to pay up for all 3 of those positions. Maybe throw in a cheap catcher. So that's it for the DraftKings picks. Let's go over to FanDuel. All right, so over on FanDuel, pitching-wise, it's basically I'm picking between Burns and Wheeler. They're only separated by $200. I'm siding with Burns right now, but if you wanted to go Wheeler, there's nothing against that. And then second base, Luis Arraez, only $2,500 batting leadoff, makes a ton of sense. You have Wander Franco, only $2,500. Got off to a great start in his debut. Struggled a little bit recently, but just like the matchup for him against Drew Smyly, who gives up power. And Wander Franco still super promising prospect. Expect him to have a good second half for the Rays, especially if he continues to get at-bats and gets opportunities. Batting second. Grossman's $3,200, but you don't have the Blue Jays on the slate because on FanDuel at least because it's only 7 innings, so you can't play Teoscar. Still like to get to Grossman against a lefty. And then Whit Merrifield, just on FanDuel at least, the Royals look to be one of the best stacks because you don't have the Blue Jays. You still have the Twins, but the Royals, Twins, a couple of teams I like to stack today. Whit Merrifield struggled a little bit, but I still like to get to him. Always gives you stolen base upside if he happens to get a walk, happens to get a single. Pretty much like at least over a 50% chance that he'll attempt to steal at least. And he does give you some power and could see 5 at-bats today. So that's about it for the baseball side. Thank you for watching. Best of luck today, and I'll see you all next time.